Hello everybody and welcome along to a new series on the channel for the next 20 weeks or so. This is the NORL F1 2017 League, I think Season 9 or something, Season 8 I think actually we're up to with these guys. And you may know I raced with them on Project Cars and I decided to join them for their F1 2017 season. So let's get right into how round 1 of the season went. I think it was a good race. We had a pretty poor qualifying, we messed up both of our laps, we abandoned one and got a really poor second one. So our quality position isn't representative of our pace at all. I know I can go about 2 or 3 seconds faster than what my quality pace should, but regardless, here come the lights, and we're getting ready for the start of the Australian Grand Prix. So, lights out, and away we go. And that's why we had a pretty good start. I think the start was better than Richcore and Super Ninja on the left, so we're going to go past Super Ninja straight away and maybe around the outside of Richcore, but we brake early. Turn 1, I don't want to lose my front wing. We have Gareth, who just dives down our inside and forces us off the track. It was a bit harsh, but we get him back anyway. We get a better exit. JD gets a little bit squeezed out by Richcore there, so we go around his outside on the run into turn 2. And JD brakes extremely late, and there's a bit of lag in front of us. When we get the switch back on JD and go back ahead in front of him, and Kevin and Nibbler are having a bit of lag issues by the looks of things. I'm pretty sure they're not bouncing about where they are. We try to go around the outside of Richcore, but Kevin kind of blocks us off, and we have a bit of hassle getting past him. Richcore tried to hold on to a decreasing racing line. That line was decreasing because of the way the track goes really quickly, and he didn't complain, so I think he knows it was his fault, and he should have backed out, but he didn't complain or message me about it, so I can only assume. Regardless, we've got a pretty good start. We've made 2 positions off the starting line, and we're right behind Kevin Jacobs. We're running actually a majority are dry, a dry setup. That's why I've requested to add some more front wing in the next pit stop. So let's see what we can do. I'm not sure about wet pace on this game compared to other people. I've not really done that much online racing other than this league. And this is round 1, so it's kind of feeling out what the other drivers are like, how hard they'll fight. And as you can see, Colin ahead's gone wide, which allows Kevin to get a run on him. I try to sight Kevin out by going to the inside, but he doesn't really fall for it. And he sticks with Colin, so we're going to stay behind him for now and see what we can do coming onto the start-finish straight. So as we come onto the start-finish straight, we got a pretty decent exit. I'm not sure if it'll be enough to challenge Kevin into turn 1. He goes defensive anyway, but I don't think we'd be able to challenge to turn 1 anyway, so he kind of compromises his own line, and maybe we can get a run into turn 2. We got a pretty decent run actually, so we might be able to challenge him. We actually look to the outside, planning to go around the outside, but he's pretty good on the anchors, so we hold off, and then he gets a pretty poor exit, which allows us to sneak down the inside for turn 3. We're going to have to force the issue. He goes wide regardless, and we managed to take him up the inside, so that was a pretty good move, I feel, and we got the job done on Kevin. The next up is Colin, Galactic Skull 2, driving in the Toro Rosso, as we set a purple sector on lap 2, as does everyone else. And I think the lead car of this little train up here is Chazza. It looks like he's got some issues, or he's just not got any wet weather pace at the moment. So he's kind of holding up the other 2 guys for us, which is very nice indeed. One of them's Nibbler, who's actually getting sideways and has hit the wall by the looks of things and lost a chunk of his front wing and slowed right down. So we go past him, and that's another free position, but it's a position gained on Nibbler and his misfortunes there. So as we come through the quick chicane, it looks like Colin is going to try stick with Chazza and make a move of his own, so we'll have to see if there's any more, if anything falls apart and if there's any more pieces for us to pick up. It doesn't look like it. Colin gets a bit sideways out of this corner again, but he manages to hold on to it well, so he don't really capitalise. Nothing really to capitalise on going into that. Coming to the penultimate corner, and Colin's looking all the closer to Chazza every single time. It looks like Chazza's getting really nervous on the accelerator and stuff in this wet weather, so he's not really got the grip. I don't know if he's on a very accelerator hungry setup and a dry, and that's kind of caused him to have a poor wet first stint. I'm not sure, but regardless, he's not got much pace right now and he's struggling. Colin actually got a bad exit out of that corner. I tried to go around the outside and swoop in, but it looks like we didn't have the drive to do that. And unless we dive on the brakes, I didn't really want to force the issue and potentially ruin our races. So I backed out of it and let him have the position, and we'll just stay put for right now and follow him and just wait to see if he makes any mistakes. And he actually gets a bit of a poor run through there, so we're right back on him. Coming into the next corner, it looks like Chazza ahead goes, he does go wide, and Colin follows him, which allows me to sneak a cheeky move up the inside Colin as he was caught unaware, caught napping while he was going wide. So that's a free position gained. Quite an easy move, but quite a cheeky one as well. We caught Colin napping, and Chazza gets a pretty poor exit out of that corner. Looks like he gets sideways again, which gives me an awesome run going into the quick chicane. So we're going to go up the inside and into the quick chicane, and we brake pretty hard. And he gets the inside, but that compromises his run for the second part of the chicane, which allows me to get a really good exit and go up the inside into the next corner and get the job done on Chazza. He'll try fight it around the outside, but in the end of the day, we had the better brakes. And it looks like JD there actually followed us through, so he lost 2 positions in 1 corner there, did Chazza. So a pretty poor wet weather start for Chazza, but me and JD have been slicing through the field 1 car by 1, so I think we both were pretty quick here today, but we both had pretty poor qualifying, so we're just slicing our way through the midfield and trying to get back into the points, which we're firmly in the points in P6 right now. Later on then, we coming to turn 1, and then we're going to cut to lap 5, and we can see that JD is actually now pressuring me. JD's a very fast driver. I think he actually won some races last season, whereas my best result was like 4th, so he's a very quick guy, and he knows what he's doing, so I expect him to be hounding me the way he is, but I'm quite impressed that we're able to keep him behind. It looks like he's not quite close enough to make a move. We're just that bit quicker than him to keep him out of lunging down the inside or trying to make any moves like that. We're pretty good on the anchors and late braking and stuff, so we're doing pretty well, and he's struggling to get close enough to make an overtake. But he's staying with us all the while, and this rain is scheduled to last, I'm not sure when until, but the engineer has told me it's at least like 15 more minutes of rain. So we're on the right tyre. There's no really transition to dry tyres going to happen for a while, and we're trying to catch the cars in ahead of me. I thought I think JD was doing this as well. We thought if we could pull each other along, maybe we could catch the guys ahead, but it seems like that's what they were doing. They were pulling each other ahead as well, so we were kind of struggling to catch up to those guys in this stint. But we cut to lap 9. We managed to hold JD off for a further 4 laps, keeping behind us, and I was pretty impressed with that, considering how fast the guy is. And he's a very quick pad user, and I was surprised that it took him this long to get by, so I was quite impressed with myself. But regardless, he's had enough. He goes for a lunge up the inside. I tried to hold it. He bangs wheels with me, and I tried to hold it going into turn 3. I get on the curb, and it kind of pushes me into his rear wheel. We wheel bang, but because of the slippery conditions, he gets a bit sideways. So I slow down, give him the room he needs to get back on the way. And I think it was just a small racing incident that none of us feel hard done by. And we got the job done. I was reluctant to let the place go because I knew if he did, I might not be able to keep up with him in free air because of his history. He's a very fast guy. But we do actually manage to keep with him fairly well. And we stuck with him throughout the course of us being behind him, which was the next good couple of laps. We managed to keep within a second of him. So I was quite impressed to keep with him. I just tried to follow his lines, but here he brakes really early, and that kind of scared me off the road, and I go wide into the chicane. So that's when I lost the major bit of time to Jake, is coming through that chicane, making that silly mistake. But regardless, coming on to lap 10, a lap later now, Jake goes a bit wide into the penultimate corner, but JD opts to take new inters. So I decide he knows what he's doing. I'm gonna have some of that. If he wants new inters, then I probably should have new inters as well. So that was the plan on that one. I just followed him in and copied what he's doing, because I know he's got many more seasons of experience in this particular league than I have. So I thought it might be a smart call. In the end, it turned out it might not have been. I'm not sure. A lot of guys didn't pit on the intermediates at all until the dry weather came later in the race. So I'm not sure where I could have been if I didn't pit. But I mean, regardless, at the time, I thought it was a good decision, so I went for it. And I thought JD could continue to pull me along, and we could continue slicing through the midfield and try to catch the guys in 5th and 4th. So that was the plan behind that one. But it comes on to later on that lap, on lap 13. You can see Jake just got on the curb or something. I'm not sure what happened, but he spun into the wall and he's lost his front wing. As you can see, he lets me go through because he's got no front wing to defend with. But wow, he had a slide and just tapped the wall, and that was the end of his front wing. We got Super Ninja skills. The 2 Mercedes guys in front of us, I think Chaz is leading from Super Ninja, and I think these guys are opting to stay out on the on the, what's the word, on the intermediates. They haven't pitted for fresh inters like me and JD did, and it's actually drying out quite a little bit. So I checked with Jeff. Yeah, we checked with Jeff, and he doesn't think it's time for dries just yet, so he decided to keep on the attack for this lap at least, and attack Super Ninja as hard as we can. And he's got to be struggling. We've had the faster race pace over Super Ninja and Chazza, I think, throughout the course of this race so far, and plus we've got fresh tyres as well to help us now. So it's going to be pretty difficult, I think, for Super Ninja to keep us behind. We'll have to see what racecraft he can come up with, and we get our first penalty there. I thought that was a little bit harsh, considering it I don't know, I felt it was a really harsh penalty, considering that it was actually the rear end getting loose on me, and that was a result of me catching it that I went over that. But regardless, we're going to go down the inside of Super Ninja now. We just got the grip, and it's like taking candy from a baby, really. So we got the job done there. But I did feel that 3-second penalty was very harsh. We hadn't had like many, or I'm not sure if we had any warnings. We had like one warning before that, prior to that, so it was a very harsh slam dunk penalty. And the thing that annoyed me in the race about it was actually the rear end stepping out, and me correcting it forced me to go over that bit of grass. So I'm not sure. Bit of a harsh penalty, and of course, as a driver, you're never going to agree with a penalty against you, are you? So I don't know. Maybe it's me making excuses, but I felt it was very harsh. Regardless, coming into the penultimate corner, Jeff has an alternate strategy, which kind of distracts me, as the L3 button's not actually on my wheel, it's on the base, so I had to take one hand off the wheel and press that. So I went wide in doing that because of how late it was. But regardless, we come into the pits, and Chazza, as ahead of us, is visually lost time to us just in that last sector, so his tyres must have really gone. And there's two Mercedes are stacking, actually, so that's going to hurt Ninja. We pit, and the Williams boys, infamous for their great stops, get us released, and it looks like Chazza got held for Colin, and that actually allowed us to jump Chazza in the pit lane. So we made all that time up on him and some more to jump him in the pits. So despite taking an extra stop, we've come out ahead of Chazza after his first stop and our second stop. So really, really good effort by the Williams guys, and by us to push so hard on those fresh inters to catch and minimise the gap. So I was really impressed with us managing to do that, and now we'll have to see if Chazza's pace improves in the dry as opposed to the wet, because of course if it's anything like the wet, unfortunately for Chazza, we would probably drop him quite quickly. And we haven't really seen our dry race pace, obviously, first race of the season. We can see that there's a yellow flag coming in here, and that's Richcore in the wall, and he was actually missing his front tyre, so he's obviously had a spin out of the quick chicane. Very, very easy to do if you guys ever played F1. He's obviously hit the outside curb and it just fires you into that wall. It actually happens in real life a bit too. So a bit unfortunate for Richcore, and he's kind of ended his own race there. So unfortunately for him, we come on to lap 21 now, and Chazza's been slowly closing us back in. But first we pulled away from him and got away, but then it seems that his Ultras finally fired up after a couple of laps, and the Ultras are 2 compounds softer. So they're not going to last to the end of the race, in my opinion, but they are a lot faster than the soft tyres that we're on. So we're going to be trying our best to keep Chazza behind us, because he's on such a faster tyre compound than us. But the only added benefit for us is that we can go to the end of the race on these easily. Chazza is going to, in the final laps, he's going to start losing that grip. But this is the prime time for the Ultra Softs, because right about now they've heated up, and they've really got down to work. So he'll be getting a lot of grip off those right about now, whereas our softs will only be giving us not a lot. We're also having to do quite a lot of fuel saving. Fuel was a major issue for me in this race. I had to use lean and lift and coast quite a lot to keep the fuel under control. I fueled right on the brim of what I'd need, so I think next time I'll overfuel. Chazza tries to go around the outside, but we get the better braking, and we actually get a good exit, despite him having the better line into the corner. And we managed to hold him off through his first attack. But yeah, fuel saving as well, really, I thought hurt me. And obviously on the straights, I'd have to try my best to put it up into standard and use the fuel, because that Mercedes won't be running, and I don't think Chazza was fuel saving at this point, given his pace. So we were trying our best to fuel save and keep Chazza behind as well. So to do both was quite good. At one point we were like minus half a lap of fuel, so we really needed to fuel save. and I had to do that for a couple of laps, and I think that kind of helped Chaz's charge to close back in on me. Next time, lesson learned, next time I'll carry a bit more fuel, so I don't have to fuel save as much, and go with that. So coming into Sector 2 now, Chaza is still right up our gearbox, and he's just waiting for an opportunity for me to make a mistake. But I felt in this race I was quite composed. I've done a lot of league races, and I've been in this position many times, so I think I'm really good. I'm trying not to toot my own horn, but I think one of my strongest assets in my racecraft is my defence. I'm quite hard to get past. I won't let you past easily, and I'll always try when I'm being chased down like this, I'll try my hardest to brake on the absolute limit. So even if someone does outbrake me, because I've broke on that limit, they're going to go wide and I'll be able to switch back them. So that's the plan, and I'm trying my hardest to keep ahead of Chaz by doing that, and it looks like it's just enough. He's unable to get close to me in the braking zones because I get a good exit, and then because I brake really late as well, he can't lunge me either. So he's in a bit of a tricky situation, and it kind of stayed at that gap. As you can see, we skipped to lap 28, sorry, and it's still that situation. So this is coming on to the final lap, and Chaz's Ultra Softs are finally starting to give up. Thank God. They've been really good, but they've finally started to give up. And as we come into turn 1, you can see in our review of the map, Chaza makes a big mistake and kind of half spins. And we actually had 2 3-second time penalties. I didn't catch the other one on camera, I couldn't find it. But we had another one for a similar corner cut, which was again a bit harsh. So we had 6 seconds of penalties, and I was accepting I was going to lose that position to Chaza. So when he made that mistake, I thought, is that going to push him outside the 6-second zone? And then I saw this gap in the top left pop up right about now at 5.3. So I needed 7 tenths to keep my position, and I knew Chaz's Ultra Softs were dying rapidly. My tyres still had some life. I had a bit of spare fuel, so I went, from this point on, I tried to go for a quali-esque style lap to get that 7 tenths and to keep my 6th place. So that was the plan. I absolutely floored it. You'll see coming out this chicane, I pop it up into Rich Mix and really try the best. And he's already at the 6-second mark. And if I can just make a little bit more for comfort, I'll just push to the end of the lap and get to the end, and that will be able to help me out in keeping my 6th place. So we'll have to see across the line if I manage to keep it, but I'm pretty sure I'm outside of the 6-second zone, and it looks like he's being closed down. He's got another car to worry about, a little weave, because that is a good day in the office, and I will definitely take P6. I think P6 is a very, very good day in the office. We do keep P6, and Chaza comes home in P7, so really good effort by us today. To get from P12 to P6, we had a really good drive in the wet, and we managed to take that. So as we go and take a look at the race results, we can actually see that I had the most positions gained out of everyone, and I was one of the only guys on a 2-stop as well. Someone actually had a 4-stop down there. That's insane. But we had a really good race, and my teammate Callum as well got a podium, so it's a fantastic day in the office for Williams. But to take away, in my first proper NORL F1 League, most positions gained in the wet, I think we had really good wet weather pace, and we had a really fun race. I really enjoyed that race. It was pretty awesome to do, and Williams have had a very strong day in the office. I think we're only 2 points behind Red Bull now because Red Bull won the race, but yeah, it was a really good effort, really good fun, and I'm glad I could be a part of it. So as we're going to take a look at the drivers' standings, courtesy of Nemesis, his lovely spreadsheet. You can see that, of course, it's the same as the race results, but we're down in P6, so it's a good foundation to build on. But if we look at the constructors' standings, Williams are in second by 2 points. So I think if me and Sven can keep up these good performances, we'll be able to challenge for the constructors this year. Nibbler had his own issues. Nibbler's very fast. Red Bull are going to be quite tricky to beat, but I think we'll be able to really take it to them over the course of the season, especially Ferrari. I think we'll be able to beat Ferrari if we keep up our pace like we did today. Anyway, guys, thank you ever so much for watching round 1 of the NORL F1 2017 League. It's good fun. I'll be doing one for every race and then a little montage at the end of the season. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope everyone who I raced with, who's watching this video, you had a good race as well, and I enjoyed our battles. And thank you ever so much for watching, guys. And until the next one, goodbye. But oh wait, they were riddled with bugs. in which some cases didn't even let you leave the qualifying session, meaning you never actually got to the grid to have that race in the first place. And when the private lobby did come, they offered hardly any customizable options. Half the time